Okay, by now you should have had a chance to calculate all the different CPI scores and inflation rates for these years, and you should have the answers that are on the screen now. If you didn't get these answers, go ahead and double check your math, make sure that you've rounded correctly and that you've set the formula up right. Remember that the latter year is always going to be year 2 and the earlier year is always going to be year 1. So our final answers to these then would be 9.68% inflation at the beginning all the way down. We had 7.06% inflation in the last year. Now, sometimes it's tempting for students if we were to ask the question, how much inflation was there between the year 2007 all the way down to 2013? There's a temptation to just go ahead and add these numbers up. If you add up all of your inflation rates for the period, you would get the total amount of inflation. And that's not what we want to do. You still need to set up that formula just like you always would to calculate any inflation rate. So the fact that the years that we're talking about are not sequential doesn't change anything. It's still going to be year 2 minus year 1 over year 1 times 100. Let's take a look at our example here. Year 2 is going to be 127.75 minus year 1, which is going to be 80.89. And now let's go ahead and make sure we have the calculator out here, get our right answer, so we're not doing this over and over again. And of course, it would get all screwed up on me. All right, so 127.75 minus 80.89 is going to be equal to 46.86. So let's keep that in mind. We're going to divide that over 80.89 times 100. So if we do 46.86 divided by 80.89 times 100, the answer that we should get for our inflation rate is 57.93%. If you were to add all of these numbers up, you would not get the same answer. Let's go ahead and check that out. Pause the video here, sum those numbers up, and see what answer you get. All right, and after you add all of those answers up, you should get a total inflation rate using that methodology of 49.4%. So when you're trying to determine the inflation rate over a longer period of time or over more than just 2 sequential years, you still have to use the formula. Summing these up is not going to give you the same answer, that's a no, as actually applying the formula that we've gone over the last couple of videos. This is the actual inflation rate during that period. Now make sure you've got a good handle on this, that you practice these a lot, because in the next video we're going to move on to translating prices or converting prices from different years to figure out which items were more expensive.